This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit, Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey, what's up? This is Tokyo Monster Kahagas, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Tokyo Monster, Kahagas.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Can you tell us what you might have coming up event-wise?
Let's see. What do I got going on? This weekend at Midwest All-Star Wrestling in St. Paul, Minnesota, there's a big fan fest, and there's a lot of people on it. I forget exactly who. You got Nasty Boys, Lita, Victoria, I don't know. There's a handful. Ultimo Dragon, Yuji Nagata, Jushin Liger, Sonny Ono, and Bull Nakano. So it should be an interesting, weekend. And we also have going on, me, Sonny Ono, and Perry Saturn are hosting a NOAH Japan tryouts on Saturday at 9 a.m. and till 2 p.m. And basically what we're pushing out there is we're giving some guys some opportunities to earn a trip to Japan. And they will be, the winner will be flight, be able to live and stay at the dojo and train every day and be part of that for 2 months, and also retain a visa to work with NOAH and, and get paid, and kind of, take that platform. And, all you can do is take that platform and deliver, and if you can deliver, you can earn more opportunities off of that. So, it's just something we're trying to help guys with. We did it a few years ago, just prior to COVID, with Wrestle One in Japan with Kaz Hayashi. And this one here is with the Nozawa. And like I said, it's a number 2 company, NOAH, in Japan. And so we're looking at, possibly doing more of them throughout the states. We think we're going to try to get out to Texas. We're going to do one here in Florida. And I think it probably up in the Northeast somewhere too as well. But, we're just trying to give some guys them opportunities to go, and anybody that does try out, there's still an opportunity for them to still go. So it's just one of them things, man. Opportunity knocks, and from my experience from, being naive and basically passing on a couple, on an opportunity that, I've learned from my mistakes, and I'll never let that happen again, because that's not something people want to look back on as missing an opportunity and wish they would have. And it's so I'm just trying to, pass it forward and help other guys out now.
Hell yeah! And I didn't actually know that you had a relationship with Noah.
Well, I have a relationship with Sonny Ono and a lot of guys.
Okay.
But, I don't, it's personal, as far as personal business, it's with Sonny.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, well, let's talk about, your most recent match, I believe. You wrestled PCO, Kevin Dorn, and Sin Bodhi in a Monsters Elimination 4-way. Can you tell us about that?
pretty crazy. I mean, it was good. I know they're going to put it online here sometime soon. It's old school championship wrestling in Hanahan, South Carolina. And it's a company they run about every 3 months. And they run great shows, man. I mean, really great shows. They draw well. You know, the promoters are just great people. And everybody there, you know, they go out there, do their job, do what they're supposed to do. And, you know, it's good stuff. As far as the match goes, I mean, that was good stuff. You got to tune in and check it out, you know, when it happens. But I mean, it was, you know, some hard hitting, some, you know, good wrestling and just some overall good wrestling, you know, good stuff.
I know that you wrestled Kevin and Sin before, but was this your first time wrestling PCO?
Yes. Yeah, it was the first time working with him.
I feel like the style-wise, it actually would mesh really well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we feel so. You know, I mean, I've worked with Kevin. You know, I met Kevin years ago and worked with him up in New York, and we were, you know, we literally tore the house down, fighting on the bars and the whole 9 yards. Actually, it's where Hog runs now, the venue up in Jamaica, Queens, New York. But yeah, we got it on, you know. But Kevin's more kind of a chill, laid back dude a little bit now, you know, and likes to have a good time and, you know, but you know, I think me and PCO were definitely more matched up.
Now, you were the NWA Worlds Heavyweight Champion. You know, not an offspring of that title, the actual NWA World Champion. With the lineage of Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Terry Funk, Harley Race. What did it mean to you to hold that championship and to have your name in the history books next to names like that?
Well, I mean, to think on it, yeah, it's man, it's an honor, it's a privilege. It's, you know, it's something not that, you know, when guys get into this business, you know, just like me, I wasn't set out to do that. I didn't, you know, I wasn't aiming to go that way, you know, but sometimes when you're going after things, other things happen at the same time, you know, and you know, it was an opportunity to work with the NWA and I did, and, you know, it worked out for me, and, you know, to be with, you know, guys like that, the pillars of the industry, you know, I mean, to me, you know, in my personal opinion, I believe, you know, when I think of the world title, I think of Ric Flair. You know, to me, he's the best, you know, the greatest world champion, you know, in my book.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but, you know, everybody has their own opinion, of course, you know, but other than that, yeah, I mean, to just be able to have your name right there on that same list, yeah, it's surreal.
Now, that night winning the championship, is that a moment you took in the moment, or is it something that kind of set in afterwards, like, wow, I did this?
Yeah, it's the wow, I did this, you know, effect probably. It's just like, even now, you know, I say this, you know, I say this all the time, and you know, I even now I have to look and I have to think about, be like, man, dude, you know, there's reason why, you know, I mean, I use this as an example. It's like I look at a flyer, like a convention or something like that, and there's just all these legends and just people that we look up to and the whole 9 yards, and then, you know, and they're famous and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I see a picture of me up there, and it's like, you know, me personally, I kind of laugh at it, and then I have to realize, oh, that's why my picture's on there.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, it's an honor, but I mean, I don't know, I'm just kind of cool about it, you know, it just is what it is.
And you won the NWA championship, you know, right off the heels of Colt Cabana and Pierce.
Yes.
Adam Pierce. Obviously Adam Pierce was kind of really well known for that run.
Oh, Adam was man. Adam was one of the, in recent history, far as, the diminish of, somewhat of the diminish of the NWA, where it wasn't in the public's, eyesight, it wasn't in their face like it used to be, years ago. But, from the timeline of that period on the independents, I mean, Adam did an incredible job with it, dude. I mean, I don't think there was anybody better. That's, thinking back, I mean, Carino was great too, but, I love Carino, and he was a great champion, but you're looking at Adam, and ran with that belt for years, and he did a lot with it, and he represented that belt, 1,000% over. He carried himself as a champion. He spoke as a champion. He was the man, dude. And I had, and I was fortunate to be able to work with Adam, and he's great. He's what a champion is, and he was the perfect guy to carry that belt for as long and as many times as he did.
Oh yeah, it's crazy to me.
He kept it alive.
Yes, yeah.
He kept it alive. Maybe not in the public's eye so much, because wrestling wasn't so hot, in the public's eye back then. But in the wrestling scene, definitely.
It's crazy to me that a lot of, wrestling fans today, they watch Monday Night Raw, and he's the general manager, and they don't know what a fantastic wrestler he was back in the day. I mean,
he still is, I have no doubt. But he's a phenomenal speaker too. He can. You give him the stick, and he's great, man.
Oh yeah. Speaking of great talkers, and we're talking about the NWA, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. You actually wrestled him in a match. What was that like, wrestling one of the all-time greats?
I was lucky to work to tag with him and wrestle against him. And man, what was so strange back then is when I was coming up, and that was Florida Championship Wrestling that happened with, and the whole locker room was people like Dusty. It was Kevin Sullivan, Brian Blair, Steve Kern, Hector Guerrero, Cuban Assassin, just, wall to wall. It was Warlord, Barbarian, Mike Rotunda, Barry Windham, so I was the outcast, bro. Can you picture that easily? You should be. When you walk into a dressing room, as me, being in the business probably for just a few years, and walking in this dressing room, and that's all you see in there. And, who are they looking at? All their eyes are on you, Right. They know who you are. You're the new guy, but I was young, and, so I was, at a young time, I was able to put myself around those type of guys and work multiple shows with these guys around me, and in the same locker room. And so when it came to working, of course it was, great. But at that time, it was just like doing my job, I guess. I don't know. It was just part of it. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I did it. I mean, I know it's a great thing, but when I started wrestling, I didn't know nothing about the independents at all whatsoever. So my first couple of years in the business, getting introduced to independent wrestling was like, kind of like, it's just upsetting, and then I got called by Florida Championship Wrestling to bring me in, and that's where my gimmick changed, and I started doing the Japanese gimmick, which I am Japanese, but I just didn't do it in the beginning, and they coached me to do it and said, hey, if you want to work for us, you got to do this. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I guess I'm going to do that. and that's where it started. And with Bill Brown, actually, he was one of the promoters back then. But other than that, that's where I was. I was placed around people like that on a consistent, and then I would work a show there, and then I would go do another show, with a lot of the same guys, and we're doing like TV in Florida. And so it's just, I was around those people. So it wasn't like starstruck kind of thing, or anything like that. Nervousness, I feel comfortable more around those type of people. Even when I'm in the ring, I don't worry about them whatsoever. If I'm working a younger guy or something like that, yeah, I'm more nervous, but it's just one of my things. I look at it as, if you're in the ring with guys like that, you can't fuck up, because if you fuck up, you suck.
Right.
You can't look bad. So, but yeah, it was cool working them, man. Just like I got to tag with Dustin, and a bunch of times, and I worked with Dustin a few times too, and so that's just it's just part of the business. And I was just fortunate to be able to work as many names and legends that in my time of coming up.
Working with Dustin, is that kind of like
He's so good, yeah.
But was it like maybe a little bit like crazy because like you worked with his dad and now you're working with Dusty's son?
Oh, that was something that was cool. And then what really struck me is when Cody come around. I was like, you know what? I need to work Cody. I need to work Cody. But that's just something that everybody you look at. It's like, oh shit, I've worked them all. I got to work this one.
Have you had interactions with Cody?
Excuse me?
Have you had interactions with Cody Rhodes?
No, never met him. I know he started, back in the CCW, kind of had like one of his first matches back with CCW, I believe it was, and I was a mainstay with CCW. But then at that particular show, I was working somewhere else out of state, so I wasn't there. So that would have been, like I said, like his first match or something.
Okay.
So I was I think it was Cody, Dustin, and Dusty all together. But yeah, I wasn't there, so no, I've never been around.
Okay. I gotcha. Now, on to an interesting wrestler that you've been in the ring with, New Jack. Can you tell us about wrestling against New Jack?
I worked with New Jack a few times. It can be fun. It can be scary. It can be, just whole 9 yards. New Jack's real. It's New Jack. He likes you or he don't. I'm glad he liked me.
I gotcha. But that's kind of the consensus I've gotten from people that's worked with New Jack, is that it can be a fun experience or it can definitely be a scary experience.
Yeah, definitely. I was fortunate to always have fun experiences with him, I've been there and seen the bad experiences with people, but yeah. New Jack, he's a trip, man. He was a good people, man. He was really a heart. He just loved the business and was real, and he the gimmick. You know what I'm saying? He lived his gimmick.
You got a New Jack story?
Do I have a New Jack story?
Yeah.
Do I got a New Jack story? No. Well, you know what? He tried to sell me a pair of boots one time, right? And they were small. They were his boots. And I guess he wears like an 8 or a 9, right? And I looked at his ass and I was like, yo, dog, you got small feet. And he goes, motherfucker, that shit ain't real. Yeah, but that's about the only. Well, I mean, I got other ones, but I mean,
I got you.
yeah, I mean, it's like his gimmick. You know, there's other ones out there. You know, like he was one to. I worked him one time, and he had a sickle. He used to travel in his bag, his check-in bag. You open it up, and he'd have like swords and fucking axes and fucking ball and chains and just. You know, them big sticks with the fucking chain and the spiked ball on the end, you know, that shit.
A mace.
Yeah, I don't know, but that shit was scary looking. And he had like sickles and shit, you know, and I remember he told me, you know, we were doing, I think it was on I think it was for MXPW TV. It's online as well. I was tagging, I think that's the match, or maybe Florida Underground, but he says to me, hey, when I say block it. So I didn't know what that motherfucker was doing. So I heard him say block it. And, dude, my back was to him, and I put my arm up and blocked it. Didn't even know. You know, I was like, instant. I'm blocking this shit. And I turned around and looked, and it was a fucking sickle.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what the fuck? You know? Yeah, but no, he was a trip, man. He was good people, dude.
All right. Now, you've been on the PWI Top 500 12 times, and 8 of them have been consecutively. You know, for wrestlers, just to get on that list once is an honor. What does it mean to you to have been so consistent in your career that you were on 8 times consecutively, 12 as a whole?
Well, you know, I mean, those times, I mean, and still now, I still, my work rate might be not as much as it was. You know, my schedule might not be as full, but, you know, I still work and I still bust my ass and stuff like that. But back then, man, I was rolling. You know what I mean? I was everywhere, and I was working my ass off, and you know, I had those opportunities to do it, and I ran with it. And plus, I mean, I was just getting bookings on my own, period, and I was just, you know, getting booked, man. That was it, and staying busy. So, you know, all that helps, man. You know, getting out, not being at home, doing different things, you know, being seen other places, you know, working top guys, you know, all that means something, you know.
Oh, yeah. But
you got to get it. You got to get there. You got to earn that. You know, that's one thing that, you know, nowadays a lot of these guys don't understand. I mean, you got to earn this shit. You got to you know, there's got to be a place for you to, you know, you got to pay some dues. You got to bust your ass to get there, you know, and then when you get there, you know, be humble about it. You know, do what you need to do. You do what you're told. You know, it's business.
All right. Now, can you tell us about being in the ring with the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts?
Yeah, I mean, I worked Jake a few times. Such a mind, man. Such a mind for the business. It's, you know, his psychology and, you know, just his, man, there's a reason why, you know, I mean, they talk about it. It's true, you know, I mean, everything they say about Jake's true. But other than that, I mean, his, you know, he's just so smart and just so calm and cool when he's working, you know, and he's just good, man, just good. I had, like I said, a few great matches with him, and you know, it's Jake the Snake Roberts, bro. He's everything they say he is.
Okay. I did see that you wrestled Sal the Pal.
Who?
Sal the Pal. Sal Renario?
Oh, okay. That was a long time ago, right?
Yeah. I was just wondering, do you have a Sal story?
Sal Renaro?
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't seen Sal in years. I mean, years. I can't recollect when. I do feel like I've seen him recently somewhere, like ran into him, but I just, yeah, I mean, but, Sal, I remember he was a good guy. We worked. I'm sure we had a good match, and, I don't really recollect it so much. I don't recall it so much. I couldn't tell you what we did or even really picture us. But, I always liked Sal. Sal was, we were young back then, too,
Okay, I gotcha. Now, you mentioned, being in, that locker room with all those legends. Can you tell us how it came about that you were teaming with the Powers of Pain against the Steiner brothers?
That was a promoter that was out of, I believe, West Virginia area. His name was, I forget his name exactly, but Don West.
Okay.
Not the Don West ring announcer or commentator. It was Don West, the promoter. And he was real cool. We never really met, but we've communicated a lot. And, then he had that show down here in Florida. And he was like, hey, come on over. So I did. And next thing you know, I was teaming with Barb and the Warlord, with the Steiners. So it was, that was a pretty cool moment, coming out the curtain, and you got the Powers of Pain, and then watching the Steiners come out. To me, that's like main event shit, WCW, WWF, I mean, that was a cool moment because, the staging, the entrance was a big, Titantron staging and all that stuff. So really cool moment, to come out like that with those guys. So that definitely.
Now I think it's time for Kahagas' Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Man. I can tell you one. All right. I went to the Dominican Republic for the first time to wrestle. And I flew from, I believe, Orlando to Puerto Rico, then had a layover in Puerto Rico and was supposed to fly to Dominican Republic. And at that time, we just had Hurricane Helene here. Well, back then, there was a hurricane coming through called Hurricane Helen. And as I left Puerto Rico, I'll never forget it, we got 69 miles away from Santo Domingo Airport. And we had to turn around because the hurricane was right on top of it. And when we turned around, the plane felt like it dropped like 100 feet. I mean, it was just bumpy, and I don't like roller coasters, bro. And so we got back to the place, and then I met, some of the Puerto Rican wrestlers heading over. They found me and, got me. We ended up going into Dominican Republic at about, we flew in late. And over there, a hurricane just hit a third world country, so there's no power, no nothing. Everything's run on generators, big generators. And so we had left the airport and we got into a taxi, which a taxi is like a 1982 Toyota Corolla that has a 4-foot propane tank in the trunk that they use for fuel. They don't go very fast either. So we had we had 4 guys in there plus the driver. There was one in the front. We had the bags hanging out the trunk of the car, tied down because there's a 4-foot propane tank in there. And then there's 3 guys in the back, and each one of us have got a bag on our lap. And we're riding, and you got to keep in mind, there's no lights on the streets. There's no nothing. And where we were going was only it was 35 minutes from the airport. It took us 2 hours. But we're driving, and we're driving through water. You can't even see the roads. It's just nuts. I mean, it's not raining, though. And we turn a corner. I remember turning one corner, and all of a sudden, all of us just looked at each other. And what had happened is the whole bottom of the car was full of water.
Ooh.
So we're all trying to get our feet up. You got a picture. We're in a little tiny Toyota Corolla with 4 guys in there with bags on top of us and the whole 9 yards. We're just pinched together. We can't move. We're riding through just a lake of just roads, rivers of roads, man. It was just nuts. But we managed to make it, but that was a memorable story. And then I just got a booking to go back and work there in December, I believe it is. So it'll be the first time in about 10 or 12 years. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. Hopefully, you'll get, the weather will be better then.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of memorable moments, can you tell us about getting inducted into the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Man, I mean, that's an honor. I mean, how can it not be? I received the men's wrestling award that year, and to be able to have that, and be able to accept that and accept the same award that night as one of my great friends, the Cuban assassin Fidel Sierra. I mean, we received both the men's wrestling awards that year, and I felt so good to be able to have someone like him that I've known throughout my career since I pretty much started, especially Florida Championship Wrestling, and it was just real cool moment, and to look out there and you see all these guys, Ricky Steamboat, Jim Ross, and Jim Ross presented it in the whole 9 yards. So, yeah, man, just cool stuff, bro, that, like I said, in this business, everybody's got a dream, and everybody's chasing the dream, but sometimes, there's a lot of things that happen, on the way there that you're not expecting. So, like Dave Heath, Gangrel, what he says, the journey, is the jewel.
I mean, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, and it is. It's the truth,
Right. I mean, it's always great to have a dream, but it's all these little cool things that happen along the way. That's definitely makes it even better.
Yeah, and the number one thing is you're always chasing them, you're always doing them, and you're as long as you keep going after them, you're getting them as you come, just like people that want to be a pro wrestler. Well, number one, that's your dream, to be a pro wrestler. Then you're a pro wrestler. Now you got to do something else, right? You you're chasing more after that. So, it's just, you got to go for it, man. It's how bad you want it, I guess.
Definitely. Now, another legend you've been in the ring with, is the death-defying Sabu. What was it like, competing against, Sabu?
Same deal, man. Just like, it's just it's a good feeling to be able to work with guys like that, and they accept you, and as a worker, and I worked him a few times, and we've always had great matches, and it's one of them things, man, where it's just another one, I guess I could put on the list that I became friends with, and had the honor to work with, and the privilege of meeting, and or just being in the same locker room with people like that. That's somebody's, they got to look at that. I mean, you're making it, you're doing something.
Yeah. I mean, we could really be here all day talking about all of the names that you've been in the ring with. You know, D'Lo Brown, Jimmy Rave, Norman Smiley, Scotty 2 Hotty, Jerry Lynn, Jimmy Snuka, Matt Hardy, Lenny Pavo, Bob Orton. Is there any names that kind of stick out to you that you've competed against? Like, wow.
I couldn't, man, it's, man, you did a lot of homework.
Yes.
It's just, it's just great to be able to do that. It's just, how can you say, I was never a guy that had a favorite wrestler. There's a couple that, like you liked a little better, but I never had a favorite wrestler. I just enjoyed wrestling, and it didn't matter who it was or who was delivering. It was just, I just enjoyed wrestling. So to be able to, to do this in my career, just to put myself in the ring with them or in the same locker room or to know them. I mean, that there's more of an accomplishment to me, as far as just, just knowing these guys, and having their respect and being able to talk to them like a human being on a personal level and be cool. To me, that's the best part of the business to me.
Okay, I gotcha. Now, can you tell us about the Mechanical Bull?
The Mechanical Bull. Wow, you did do your homework. The Mechanical Bull was awesome, man. That was me and Damian Wayne with AML Wrestling over there in North Carolina somewhere. And it was in a bar, and there just happened to be a mechanical bull on the other side of the bar, and I was working Damian Wayne, and of course when me and Damian Wayne wrestle, we don't usually stay in the ring, so we were pretty much all over the place, and we made our way over to the mechanical bull. And the highlight of the mechanical bull was when we ended up both getting on there, the whole crowd just started erupting, man. They were just, turn the bull on, and it was like, when they turned it on and we flew off of it, that was like the payoff, Now we had to move to another moment, you know what I'm saying? But, it was cool, man. It's just one of them things that, things happen, and, you take advantage of them, when you can. And when we just happened to, do it and make it work. Saw it and was like, let's go ride that bitch.
Now, is there any significant meaning to your tattoos that you have?
You know what? Pretty much, you're the first person who's ever asked that. Pretty much every one of my tattoos have a meaning to them. I've got, my daughters and family, my mother, stuff like that. A lot of the writing and stuff, it's all, Japanese. And I've got a lot of friends that's passed on my arm, and a few more I got to get. So, but, yeah, they all have meaning to me.
Okay. So, and obviously you have plans to get more as well.
Well, yeah. Everybody wants more. If you get them. That's just, you're never done, but it is what it is. No rush.
Having spoken to some people, not everybody, you're never not done. Some people are, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. To each his own,
Is there, like a tattoo that you want to get, that you had your eye on, like a design or something more specific?
Nah, man, not really. Pretty much the only tattoos I need to get or want to get later is, added on, or just friends of mine, people that mean something to me.
Okay. I think that takes us to the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Big production, unlimited budget. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Man, I don't know, because I don't really listen to music. I can drive 1,000 miles, which I don't drive 1,000 miles, but I can drive 100 miles and not even have the radio on and back, So, I mean, it's, so I don't even know what songs are out there no more. I don't, I don't really, not that I don't like music, but, I think it's just, I was a bass head when I was a kid and I just got sick of that shit. Was in clubs all the time, but as I got older, I just don't like hearing the loudness, but other than that, I mean, I don't know. One of my buddies, good buddies, he's like my brother. He's a DJ and he's well known, and I'd probably have him do all that just like he did my entrance music. So,
okay. Is there maybe one song that you identify with that you'd like to have in your movie?
Oh well, I guess like "Blind" Korn. That was like my first entrance music ever. I used for years.
Okay. Alright, solid song as well. Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go to casting. Who plays you? And you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Damn, man, you got some wild questions. I mean, they're not. It makes you think, is what I'm saying. Shoot. I'm not good with actors either, bro. I don't watch TV hardly, bro. I don't. Yeah, I'm pretty simple, bro. I mean, if I do, it's wrestling or something.
Well, if I can ask, what does Kahagas do in his downtime if he's not listening to music or watching TV or movies?
I come home. I do a lot of stuff at home around the house. It's just me and my 3 dogs, and I just kind of do my thing, try to get things going on. Just go fishing, and just whatever. I'm a pretty laid back dude, man. Just chill out around the house. Wait for the weekend to come up.
Okay, so fishing. I mean, what has been like the biggest fish you've caught? Like, what's your white whale?
Oh, I do a lot of bass fishing and speck fishing and stuff like that. So, I mean, you catch 7-8 pound bass, that's a good sized fish. But
that's a good deal.
Man, yeah. So, I mean, it's I just live my life, bro. I'm pretty laid back. I do a lot of things that most people don't think I would do. So, pretty easy.
Well, let's kind of get back to the colossal question. Who would be 3 people significant to you in your story that would be in your movie?
Oh, probably my daughters. I don't know. There's a lot of them laying around right now. But shoot, there'd be so many, dude, like Matt Bourne, TNT, Kenny G, and Kevin Sullivan, and just so many people. I'm the type of guy that I don't forget where I came from, and I know what they've done for me, and I'm always always willing to return the favor. That's something that I've always, when I got into this business, I always knew, regardless what I do, is I never forgot where I came from, and people, if I ever did anything, and if I could return the favor somehow, some way, I'll do it.
Definitely.
So, one of those things. I try to hook everybody up that I could.
Alright, well, it's sounding like a great movie, and you could pre-order the tickets now. Now, onto a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I don't prefer it, but if I'm hungry, I'll eat it.
Okay,
That's
so
about it.
so leaning more towards anti-pineapple rather than pro.
Yeah, I'm not going to order it like that.
I gotcha. All right. Well, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Thug? THUG.
No, tell me about it.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. 'Cause a Doug can't spell.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did that come from? Who says that? Is that something Tracy would say?
Yes, that's a Tracy Smothers original. Like I said.
I knew Tracy, but I never heard that one, but that's cool.
You got a Tracy Smothers story?
What's that?
You got a Tracy Smothers story?
No, not really. I mean, I was around Tracy quite a few shows, up in the Kentucky and Tennessee areas and stuff like that. But, I ain't really got a story about Tracy. I mean, just always a cool dude. And, Tracy was awesome, man. He was just a good dude, period. And, he was fun to be around and, just the whole 9 yards. But, yeah, I don't have nothing, personal, no kind of story for him.
Okay. Well, from what I've heard from people that actually knew him, he was, outstanding individual.
Oh, yeah, he was a mentor to many, man.
Definitely. Weirdest question you'd be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
No. That's something I'm not that guy. I mean, I'm not wrestling a doll. I'm not doing none of that. I mean, if that's the case, I better be getting paid a lot of money. Just like all those guys you watched on TV do. They got paid. They got themselves in a situation. Rather they had to dance with a mop or run around in the diaper. They were being disciplined, and if they wanted to haul ass, they could go ahead and lose their jobs. And other than that, pay your dues. You fucked up. Now you're in a position where you got to make up for it. That they do. Well, they used to do those things. They still do stuff like that, but a lot of the fans don't recognize what they're doing. But maybe more fans nowadays, but not your general casual fans. But it's I see, wrestling dolls and stuff like that. I'm not that dude, man. I'm not. I don't even, I won't do an intergender match either. I'm just not that guy.
Okay.
If I go in there and do something like that, I want to wrestle that girl the same way I wrestle a man. And I just don't feel what's the purpose.
No,
I mean, other people do it. I don't discriminate against it. I just don't do it.
Right. And that's definitely fine.
Yeah.
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
More power to him.
Yeah, that's a student of Holy Race as well.
Nice.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know. I mean, probably still in the ring. And, I've been doing a lot more behind the scenes type stuff too, a couple companies and stuff. So, as far as booking and agenting and stuff like that. So I'm digging that. And, and I do training, I do, advanced training classes, scheduled training classes, monthly or a couple times a month or something like that. And, I only do a limited amount of students so that way I can give them more one-on-one, and I give them all day, as long as they want to stay, and whatever they want to ask, whatever they want to do. You know, I try to help them out. So I like doing that type of stuff, you know, but it's kind of hard to find the guys that really want it, you know. And what I try to do is I don't go in there and try to, you know, show them how to do a headlock or do anything like that. You know, I can show them, you know, give them some ideas and, you know, and maybe things that help make it a little different. You know, I'm more of a character development guy, psychology, you know, and the realism of the business and, you know, and being in the ring. And, you know, and psychology is a big part to me. And to me, a lot of these guys, they go to training schools, they can go train for a year or whatever. And once they get out of there, it's like, now what do you do? You know, they go out, they start wrestling matches and stuff like that, which they don't know shit. The only thing they know from coming out of that, you know, training school after only a year is they know how to take some bumps and they think they know how to put a match together. You know, that's it. There's nothing else. You know, psychology and all that stuff, that's a thing where you got to want it. You got to look for it. You got to understand it. And not everybody's going to get it. And I've seen it. I see it now. I see guys that I've known, you know, that have been around the business for many years. And it's just like, this guy still don't get it. Unbelievable, you know. But, you know, it's just one of those things. You either get it or you don't. That's how I look at it. And I try to teach it. I try to, you know, have these guys envision what, you know, because that's where I am. I'm a visionary, man. So I like to see what I'm doing. And I try to get these guys to understand why and purpose of doing things, you know, instead of doing all this, you can just do that, you know.
Right. All right. And now, since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Ric Flair.
Worst wrestler.
Ron Sullivan. Ron Von Hess.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Well, it should be current, so it would fit, so it'd have to be Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah, I would say so. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Gangrels.
Hell yeah. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Real.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast.
Not me.
Squash, vegetable or fruit?
A match.
I will accept that answer. New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
The ratio?
Yes.
Trunks to what?
Trunks to butt cheek ratio. So like how much if you're wearing trunks or just a wrestler in general, if that's wearing trunks, how much of their butt cheeks should show?
None of them. None of the butt cheeks should show.
So full coverage.
You're not wearing panties. You know, I mean, you're not wearing Daisy Dukes. You know, I guess it depends on what gimmick you are, too.
Okay, so full coverage.
Yeah. I'm not talking about, like, tights or nothing, you know, I'm just talking about trunks.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, trunks.
Alright. Now, on to the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
About who?
Darby
Allin?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
And that is the correct answer.
Okay.
And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I had a good time, bro.
I appreciate that. We like to keep it interesting for our guests.
And it was different, that's for sure.
Can you tell us where we can find you on social media and your merchandise?
Social media, I'm pretty active on Facebook, Tokyo Monster Kahagas. There's also NWA Triple Crown, Tokyo Monster Kahagas, as well as I have an Instagram, Tokyo Monster, YouTube, Tokyo Monster. You know, it's all the normal platforms. I use some more than the others.
And where can we find merchandise?
Merchandise, you can just hit me up on Facebook, message me on any platform really, and I've got T-shirts, stickers, pictures, promo pics. I got all kinds of stuff. And just hit me up, whatever. You got gear, ring, used ring gear. I got whatever.
But you don't have a New Jack's boots, correct?
No, I didn't get New Jack's boots. They didn't fit.
And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt. Alright, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Reddit, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say Wrestling With, you say entertainment, okay?
All right.
For our special guest, Kahagas, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling With
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling With Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.